So whatever it is that Lane did, when Sark is like, when Saban is like, this guy reminds me of Lane, talking about Sarkisian, that marriage had to be annulled. Now, there are some that are calling for Chip Kelly to be, hey, Chip Kelly's out there, right? Resurrect his career. I don't see that. And one of the reasons that neither Lane nor Sark worked is it's really hard to go from being a head coach in college successful, in the pros moderately successful, in the pros and now you're an assistant coach in college and you're reporting to somebody else who's going to tell you how to do your job. Like, dude, the reality of that's one of those things that you write it and people are like Pat Forty wrote a column on it. It's like, that a boy, Pat, Yahoo Sports, that a boy. The reality of it is like, one, if you're Chip Kelly, why would you take that? You can get a head coaching job by doing nothing except for touring around during the season. And I understand that as offensive coordinator in Alabama, if you don't like to recruit, you don't have to necessarily go and recruit. You can just kind of tinker. He doesn't want to recruit because he doesn't want to go back to college, but he said he'd consider a lot of things. But I don't think you go from a head coach in the pros after having a wildly successful head coaching career in college to, I'll be the offensive coordinator for the Dictator. Right? That's like when Steve Spurrier got fired by the Redskins. If he would have gone back and somebody's like, well, would you like to go work for, who was Pete Carroll as our offensive coordinator, whoever was the hottest coach in college football at the time? No, I'd rather go and be the head coach of South Carolina. I mean, some of it is just what is the reward? What is the risk? And the risk is if it doesn't work, you end up at Florida Atlantic. If it does work, you end up being a head coach at Tennessee. Well, guess what? If he does nothing, he could still be the head coach at Tennessee. Right? He could be the head coach at UCLA if that doesn't get turned around. He could be the head coach at Texas A&M if that doesn't get turned around. So I don't see it. But Sark and Saban got an annulment. It'll be interesting to see if Sark can capitalize on what Shanahan built. And most people in Los Angeles regarded Sark as the better play caller, the wiser of the two between him and Kiffin. I don't think it's that big a rise after being fired by USC. Remember, he wasn't fired because he was a terrible coach. He was fired because he was a drunk. He had turned around Washington. He's did a very good job in resurrecting that Washington program. Not great. He's not as buttoned up as Chris Peterson. He's not the coach of Chris Peterson is, but he did a good job. And he wasn't at USC long enough before the train came off the tracks. But that's actually the more normal progression is being a head coach, losing your job, becoming an offensive coordinator, and then waiting for the right opportunity and getting back in.